Can I be honest with you? When I entered into my marriage, I began to see, I began to discover, I began to discover who I really was. So sometimes as wife, we are very hard on ourselves. Society sometimes put the pressure on us, especially when it comes to you being a submissive wife, and you should always make your husband look good, and all of that. And if you're not careful, you find yourself in a situation where it become all about your husband, all about the child or the children, and not about you.
Disagreements, we know how to solve them, cause that's what love's about, yes, yes. Disagreements, we know how to solve them, cause that's what love's about, yes, yes.
Hey family, welcome back to another episode of Discovering the You podcast. I am your host, Nikki and Samuels. I am so excited to share with you in this week episode. And guess what? It promised to be an exciting one. And of course, last week was buzzing. I want to say thank you all for subscribing, for sharing the video, liking it, leaving all the comments. Even today, I was checking out the comments, and I want to say thank you. I see you. I love the energy in the comment section. And you see me all by myself this week, but don't worry, we will be sharing on a very vibrant topic that you will love. Why? Because it was requested that I talk a little bit about marriage. So this week we are focusing on discovering the you in marriage. Hello, Discovering the You is one of those podcasts that gear towards different aspects of life, your business, your purpose, your relationship, your career. How did you discover you? Are you still discovering your strength? Are you discovering your weakness and all the other parts of your life? So welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to say to you, listen, it's gonna be good enough. It's gonna be really good. Stick around with me and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. So, marriage didn't change me, it revealed me. That is the topic for this week. Marriage didn't change me, it revealed me. I thought I was stepping into love, just love, right? But I was really stepping into a mirror, because marriage has a way of uncovering what you didn't even know was still living inside of you. The healed parts, the hidden parts, the growing parts, yes, even the broken parts. So today we're talking about discovering the you while becoming one. All right, so that's the focus for this week, discovering the you while becoming one. What are your thoughts about this topic this week? How did you, if you are married, how did you discover that part of you? So let me just be honest. When I got married, I was very pretty, well, I wouldn't say I was pretty young. I was 29 years old. And I got married, and I always say this to my husband. When I got married, I don't think I had a lot of, knowledge and the whole information about marriage. I was basically just going off of what I saw around me. I was going off of what I believe was, all I needed for marriage. And one of the things I always said is, if my husband loves God and knows how to love God more than he loves me, then that's fine for me. But there were other parts that I weren't paying attention to. So for example, I entered into the marriage. Oh, I'm heading into, this love relationship, and it's going to be all a smooth sailing relationship. But I did not just enter into love. I entered into a mirror. Because can I tell you, can I be honest with you? When I entered into my marriage, I began to see, I began to discover, I began to discover who I really was. And one of the first things I believe that I had discovered when I entered into my marriage was that, you know what, Nikki Ann? You are called. You are called to this relationship of marriage. It's a calling. It wasn't just you getting up to say, I want to be married. I want to be in a relationship. This is a calling. And I'm going to tell you why I say it was a calling, or it is a calling. In my mind, I was stepping into love, just love, but I was really stepping into a mirror. I was about to discover. I was about to discover who is this person. I was about to discover who Nikian really is, right? I was about to discover all the different things, including purpose. And I don't want to leave that out, because marriage has a way of uncovering what you didn't even know was still hiding inside of you. The healed parts, of course, the hidden parts, the growing parts, and even the broken parts, right? Even the broken parts. So today, we're talking about discovering the you while we're becoming one. And the first thing I want to talk about is, the whole aspect of knowing who you are before you get married. Now, let me be honest with you. I know I have a script, but I'm going to be very frank with you. The reason why it is important to know who you are before you get married, because by the time you get into the marriage and you're trying to figure out who am I, it's going to probably take you a few years to figure out who am I really, or maybe. So for some persons, it may take a shorter period of time. But for me, it took a while. Okay, it took a while because I struggled with insecurity. I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled, and I said struggled because I'm not at that place anymore. I was not whole. And so it took me a while to discover who is this person. And so by the time you get into the marriage and you're trying to figure out who am I, and then you're trying to understand your partner, oh my God, that's a lot of work. And you are living life together and of course individually. It can put a strain on the relationship. It can actually bring you to a place where you're wondering, now, did I make the right decision? Why did I do this? You know what I mean? And so it's very important to at least have an idea of who you are, know who you are before you enter into marriage. It's very important. Take it from me. So one of the reasons why I said this, so I said the first reason, the second one is when you get into marriage, you don't want to lose yourself. You don't want to lose yourself. You want to build on who you are. So you bring who you are to the marriage, and your husband come with who he is. He understand who you are. You understand who he is. And together, the both of you are working on who you really are and building something that will last and exceed generation, something that will surpass your generation. The both of you will build a legacy that will last when you enter into the marriage knowing who you are. Now, some persons get married and they get married, or they got married, and when they got married, they start looking for themselves in their spouse. They are waiting on their spouse to tell them who they are, to actually help them to discover. And that's okay, because your partner should, as you evolve, as the year goes by, your partner should be able to help you to highlight some of the things that he would have seen in you, and he would say to himself, our babe, you can work on this, and this is a thing that you can actually build on. Yeah, that's good, and of course that is allowed. But you should not go into the marriage and when your husband said to you, okay, so where do we go from here? You are looking in his face and he's looking in your face because you don't know who you are, and that can cause a problem. So it's very important that you discover who you are, so that when you go into the marriage, you don't lose yourself. Some people lose themselves. Why? Because they enter into a marriage and their life is defined by whatever the man says and whatever the man does, and you find yourself, you just lose yourself. You just lose yourself. So you have to remember, God designed for oneness without disappearance. Listen, God designed the marriage for oneness, but you don't have to disappear. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to decrease. Some persons I would have seen, Probably not in Jamaica. I don't know a lot about the marriages in Jamaica. But when you watch, like, for example, some podcasts, you hear some people, they got married, they were working on this and they were working on that. And the moment they got married, they literally push everything aside. And and I'm talking about bright, intelligent people, Okay, so now I am home and I'm just having babies, and they have 18 babies. And they're just making sure their husband is okay. And whatever their husband says, that's it. No, don't get me wrong. He's the head. You are supposed to be submissive to your partner. But that doesn't mean you should disappear. Don't disappear in your marriage. Your marriage is supposed to highlight your strength, help you to sort out your weakness. Remember, I said it shouldn't change you. Your marriage shouldn't change you. It should reveal what is on the inside of you. And that includes your strength, your weakness, what you need to work on, what you need to cut back on, what you need to get rid of, what you need to build on. That's basically what the marriage is about. Marriage is a beautiful thing, by the way. All right, so I've been talking. I am going to take a break and I will be right back. What is love? By yours truly. What is love without affection? Love does not exist without affection. That cannot be love. It is infatuation. What is love without attention? That isn't love. Love can't malfunction. What is love without communication? That isn't love. It is misconception. Love without affection will end in contention. Love without attention will end in confusion. Authentic love is accompanied by affection. Love is patient. Love is kind, gentle, and intentional. Love is sweet. Love does not compete. It is internal, magnetic, and sensational. Authentic love is active. Love is a doing word. So what is love without affection? It will be identified in your manifestation. What is love without affection? Love does not exist without authentic affection. Welcome back, guys. All right, so this episode, it is not gonna be a very long one. So earlier I was talking about not losing yourself in the marriage. I also want to highlight the importance of staying rooted in your purpose. So you know who you are, you go into the marriage, stay rooted in your purpose because God already defined you. Another thing is that sometimes we get married and we just stop. Life just stopped for us. We're not doing anything. Continue in personal growth as a wife. So look for the things that you need to work on. I am still in the process. So listen, I'm not speaking from the mountaintop. No, I don't want nobody to think, oh, I'm speaking from the mountain. No, I am still growing as a wife. When I got married, and one of the things my husband did was to say, okay, you're going back to school. We sat down, we wrote it down, and we decided when I was gonna start. And I started, I did what I had to do. I went and I got the subjects that I went for. And right after that, I went into Bible school. So you have to continue to grow in your personal life. Give yourself grace in the process. So sometimes as a wife, we are very hard on ourselves. Society sometimes put the pressure on us, especially when it comes to you being a submissive wife, and you should always make your husband look good, and all of that. And if you're not careful, you find yourself in a situation where it become all about your husband, all about the child or the children, and not about you. And you are more quick to defend and protect and care for your partner, but not yourself. You need to pay attention to your life. Do not abandon you in the marriage. Give yourself grace, give yourself care, give yourself love. Be patient with your growth. You're on a journey. You're a kingdom wife. Give yourself that grace. Remember, you are becoming. So take time to check in with yourself as a wife. If you really want to discover who you are, because after 5 years in the marriage, or probably 10 years, you should evolve. You should have grown, or you are growing. So check in with yourself. Stay in prayer. Stay in prayer about your evolution. Stay in prayer about your journey. Stay in prayer about your purpose. Stay in prayer about your life and also about your marriage, right? Keep nurturing your relationship with God. Sometimes we get so busy with marriage, busy with career, busy with children, busy with this, busy with that. We forget who we are. But nurture your relationship in your marriage. Nurture your relationship. Give yourself permission to grow in seasons. Now watch this. This one is big, because I remember at one point in my marriage, I was so hurt in the sense of, okay, I was always angry and I couldn't understand why. So I was very hurt. I was like, where did this person, where was this person all along? Why am I so angry? And I had to check in with myself, and I did this with a friend. I asked her, do you think? And she said to me, you need to. And I went before the Lord and I said, God, if this is what is going on in my heart towards my husband, towards this marriage, please remove it, because this is not who you have created me to be. And this is not the marriage you have called me to. And so I check in with myself and I began to pray. And I'm telling you, God revealed the root cause of the issue. And I prayed about it and I became a better person in that area. So you need to, and be patient with the process too as well. Not because somebody who married 20 years ago, because one of the things with us, and be honest, one of the things with us is that we tend to compare a lot. We're in a culture of comparison. We compare a lot. So we start looking at someone else's marriage. The people they married 20 years ago, they were married 10 years, 15 years ago, and you just got married 5 years ago, and you expect your marriage to be at the same level. Remember now, they are where they are because they paid a price. They are where they are because they did something. Right? They were patient with the process and they allow growth to take place. And I think that is why many wives or husbands are frustrated in their relationship, because they are comparing and comparing. I did it too. So listen, as I told you, I'm not speaking from the mountain. I'm on the journey. Now watch this. I remember at one point I was saying to my husband, why can't you be like this person? Why can't you? And he said to me, I'm not that person. So you have to understand that I am who I am. And you have to now learn to the different sides to your partner, the different aspect of this person, and understand that, you know what, let me give him grace, let me be patient with him. His journey is different, my journey is different. One of the things we practice in our marriage, and we did this for years, is that we declared, we have a written declaration. We have a written declaration. We declare, we speak of our marriage, and we said this marriage is supposed to be an example for others to adopt. You discover as you go. I discovered that my husband likes things done a certain way. He discovered something about me. We're always discovering in our marriage. But what we don't want to do is that when we make a certain discovery, we lose our identity. So give yourself permission to grow. Healing and love can happen at the same time. So while you're healing, it doesn't mean you have to be bitter. You're going through a healing process. It doesn't mean you have to neglect or abandon your marriage. You can still give love and you can still heal. So while you're healing, you are giving love to your partner. So some of us, we are asking questions like, what area can I focus on in terms of growth? And the first area that you can focus on is your emotion. Your emotional status, the state of your emotional. You have to keep that in check, right? Sort it out. Know what triggers certain type of behavior. And some of us, we don't realize that the enemy, when you are ignorant to certain things, it gives the enemy an advantage over us. So you have to analyze your life. Why do I feel this way when my husband do certain things and say certain things? Is there something that I need to sort out in my heart? Hard questions. You have to ask yourself those hard questions. Communication stretch you too. So don't be afraid to be honest and talk about it. If it means that you have to find a counselor or somebody, but sort out that too. And understand that you're going through the refining process. Listen, God can use your marriage as a mirror for you. You know, when you look in the mirror, and a mirror is right there, when you're looking in the mirror, you're seeing the reflection of yourself. Look in your husband. When you're in the marriage, look, because sometimes the things that annoys you about this person is exactly what is on the inside of you. You are telling him to fix the thing that you need to fix too. That's true. Sometimes we're like, I don't like you need to work on it too. The problem is within you too. And I always said this. I write this in my book, the second edition of The Journey to Becoming a Kingdom Wife. We are so focused on his becoming that we forget about our becoming. Husband need to become this. Husband need to do this. Wife, you need to become. You need to become. Discover and become. We could literally call this podcast Discover and Become. You are discovering, and as you are discovering, you are becoming. Because marriage is not supposed to literally change you. You don't know yourself anymore. But it is for you to reveal you. So it can show you up. Marriage can literally show you your flaws, show you your strength. Because when I got married, I was never an intercessor until I got married. When I got married, I realized that, girl, you have it in you. Right? My purpose started to surface when I got married. I started to discover gifts and talents that I didn't know I am wired with. And so there's a lot to discover as we journey and as we fall in love. And this is for the single, the married, and the people, the young women and men out there who are expecting to get married. This is also for you. This is also for you. So I want you to be intentional about your discovery process. Some of you are just getting married. Don't just get married yesterday and by today you expect the man to be a certain thing or the woman to be a certain thing. Be patient with the process. Let the process take its full course. Love on the person that you're married to. Be kind and just allow God to make your marriage what it really is, what it really supposed to be.